now like to call this meeting to order and ask that you please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance from Council Member Mr. Brad Childs.
Dear Lord, our hearts are humbled by the events unfolding on the other side of our world. Our own storms of nature have a known ending, but the storms of man have no known conclusion. Father, we pray that you watch over the victims of all wars. We pray for those separated from their loved ones and for those returning home to the unknown destruction of the storm we call war. We pray to you for peace. We also trust in you that this will be in your time, reminded by your words, be still and know that I am God. Bless this meeting today, all those present, as well as all the lives of those we will encounter afterwards. In your name, amen.
Amen.
And thank you, Council Member Mr. Childs. On to item 3, motion. Motion finding that the advance posting and notice requirements of Article 8.1200 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Orange, Texas have been met in relation to all minutes and pending ordinances and resolutions on this agenda, and that the reading of such items be confined to the captions as are agreed upon by the ordinances and resolutions. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Burge?
Aye.
Ms. Hennigan?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
Mr. Childs?
Aye.
Mr. Bailey? Okay, motion passes. On item 4, citizen comments. At this time, comments will be taken from the audience on any subject matter, whether or not that item is on the agenda. All comments are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes for each speaker. Your comments are appreciated. As the Texas Open Meetings Act does not allow the council to respond to items not listed on the agenda, your comments will be duly noted by the council and forwarded to the appropriate department for prompt consideration. A member of the audience that desires to speak during the City Council's consideration of any specific agenda item is requested to notify city staff prior to the start of the meeting. At this time, the first name on the list is Eldoris Finney. Please step forward, state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
My name is Eldoris Finney. I live at 710 West Hart Avenue. I've been talking to the post office about a mailbox that failed. This is our current mailbox. This is what the post office did once they found out or tried to move us. So I've talked to Congressman Babin also about the mailbox. The mailbox has been there, I've been there 16 years, and the mailbox was there when I got there. Ms. Broussard across the street has been there longer than I have. So the post office keep telling us, first they told us it would be about a couple of months before, and they were calling some office, Houston somewhere, I don't know where it was, but, and said before they could, Beaumont had to come out and put it out. Then it came to the point where we had to pay $1,500 for the post box, for the mailbox. And we rent on the street, and there's some homeowners on the street, and some very vacant houses on the street. So I didn't understand how they thought we was gonna get together and pool money together to get a post box. So they tried to move us. They moved me to 6th Street. And I really don't think I need to move to 6th Street to get my mail at Hart Street. The lady across the street from me is 84, 82, 84. They moved her down the block close to 9th Street. And I don't think Ms. Broussard can walk to 9th Street, close to 9th Street to get a mail. She's been having problems. She had somebody to mail a mail, which they didn't mail it for her, so her bills were behind or whatever. And we've talked to the post office. They gave me this generic letter to call this woman. I've called this number probably over 50 times. No one answers. No one answers. So they keep telling us $1,500, $1,500. And my problem is we don't have $1,500 for a post box that will not go with us once we leave there. So we're asking for help. I've asked for help over and over with this matter. When I go to receive my mail, the post office, they're rude, disrespectful, don't seem to understand understand what we're going through. We come up there every day to get our mail. And at this point, I can't even go after school because once I leave school at 4:15, they're closing down like Fort Knox at 4:30 before I can get in there. So we misplaced mail. They've given Ms. Broussard everybody's mail on the street like she's the post person and she's trying to deliver the mail to the people on the street. We just need an answer. We don't know if there's a fund that y'all have that to replace post boxes in the city. We've asked, could we put it on our house? No, we couldn't do that when there are other boxes on people's houses. So we just need help. We don't have $1,500 just to give the post office or whomever to put up a box. That was already there. It was one already there. Thank you.
Thank you. I've seen this post on Facebook. I was tagged several times by several different people. And I've commented on it that, you know, even though a lot of people think that the mayor and council, we don't have any jurisdiction, however, this is ridiculous. I don't understand why they're not giving you a free mailbox because that's a service from the federal government, not a city government. Did they say that you couldn't have a personal mailbox, like even by the street?
Can I have some?
Yeah,
of
let
those
me have
contact
that
numbers
letter
so
because
I
I'm
can-
gonna go up there and
I
talk to
would
them
like to
too.
try to help. I can't give you an answer, but I would like to try to help.
Well, I just don't want y'all to think that we don't care. It's
Yeah.
just that we're not allowed to touch their property
Right.
because it's.
Can I have this? Okay.
Okay.
Is your, would you put your contact number on here? Put your contact number on here so I can tell you when I find it.
Yeah, well, it's okay. We're normally not allowed to respond, and if we get in trouble, then oh well, because I want people to know that we care. But it turns into the blame game, and that's ridiculous. People should be able to get their mail.
I'll try.
And thank y'all. I don't understand how that part of the government works, but thank you, Ms. Finney. Okay, next on the list, we have Captain Jan Zuniga with the Salvation Army.
City Council, staff, thank you for having me today. My name is Captain Jan Zuniga, representing the Salvation Army and the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club. I'm here to share two special things we have going on. We'd first of all like to invite you for lunch on Monday, April 4th, to our building. We'll offer you some free Chick-fil-A. If you would like to come out and hang out with us, we are having a thank you to those within the county who have helped volunteer to make sure what we do in the community could happen, whether that be through bell ringing, helping out in our food pantry, in the club, helping to pack and serve those 500 Thanksgiving food boxes we handed out last year, as well as help over the 400 children that we helped with Christmas. So we're doing a thank you on Monday, April 4th at noon. It'll include a small 20-minute stand-up kind of gathering where we'll recognize our top bell ringer group from last Christmas, as well as to say thank you, but also to kick off our second annual 100 for Hope campaign. Our goal is to raise $10,000 in our 100 for Hope campaign by looking for 100 individuals within the county who would either donate or help raise at least $100. In fact, one year city council members last year was our highest raiser with over $400, Miss Mary McKenna. She's not here. And we say thank you by offering an amazing, very soft and comfy t-shirt. But we're kicking that off on the 4th during that, and so that'll last for a month into May, where we'll be raising that money. That $10,000 will go to our food pantry. Last year we serviced over 3,500 individuals in Orange County with food. Wow. We do that to help make sure the money in their pocket can go farther to help pay some of those bigger expenses. And we've started a new program where we provide perishable items such as milk, eggs, butter, bread, sandwich meat, cheese, produce, but that's an added expense that is hard on us. And so that $10,000 we raise will go towards that. I got 1 minute left. And we want you to know that on that Saturday, April 9th, the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club will be providing its first community family event. We're hosting at Shangri-La. a family fun walk. It's open for free to any family in the community. We just ask they sign up with Shangri-La or at the location on that day. 9:30 in the morning is registration. They'll have a mile walk through the park where they'll get to enjoy learning about being healthy, enjoying nature, and some hands-on experiences. And it'll end sponsored by Chevron with a family picnic on the lawn there. Chevron Phillips is providing the first 150 families with a picnic blanket they'll get to take home, as well as then a picnic breakfast from Chick-fil-A that morning. So it's free. We're inviting all families to come out and join us.
And I would like to say that people don't realize, but we have to purchase our food for the food pantry. It's not given to us at Salvation Army. We have to purchase that. So,
Yes, especially those non-perishable items. When we shop at Walmart on a weekly
Yes.
basis, it costs us anywhere from $400 to $800 a
Yes.
week, which usually helps to provide for 25 to 50 families. And so being able to have those items on a regular basis depends upon our funding available.
yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Ms.
Thank you.
Jan. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Jane.
Okay, is there anyone else who would like to address the council at this time? Okay, if not, we will move on to city announcements. Mr. Coons? Oh, Ms. Dallas?
Hello, Mayor and Council. I just wanted to remind everybody and all of our guests today that on April 2nd, we will be having Art in the Park and the Riverside Car Show, Riverfront Car Show. I'm always going to get that messed up. I'm very, very excited to announce that we have not only extended the amount of booths that we typically have, but we have sold out all of our booths. And so now the event will be, Art in the Park will be held in Stark Park, and it will wrap around to front. And then the car show will extend, and so the two events are going to meet together, and we're really excited to have, hopefully, weather like we had this weekend, not today.
Right.
But really good weather and good music and all of that, and it's free as usual. So all details are on our Facebook under Explore Orange.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As long as y'all bring Rudy's kebabs, we good. Okay. All right, any other announcements, Mr. Coons? That's
No.
it?
Oh, thank
Okay. On to proclamation, Fair Housing Month. Okay. Okay, proclamation from Office of the Mayors from the City of Orange. The National Fair Housing Act of 1968 prohibits discrimination in housing and declares it a national policy to provide within constitutional limits for fair housing in the United States. And whereas the principle of fair housing is not only national law and national policy, but a fundamental human concept and entitlement for all Americans. And whereas the 53rd anniversary of the National Fair Housing Law during the month of April provides an opportunity for all Americans to recognize that complete success in the goal of equal housing opportunity can only be accomplished with the help and cooperation of all Americans. Now therefore, I, Larry Spears Jr., Mayor of the City of Orange, Texas, do hereby proclaim the month of April as Fair Housing Month in the City of Orange, and do hereby urge all the citizens of this municipality to become aware of and support the Fair Housing Law. Congratulations. Ms. Monson. Ms. Monson, put a plaque up with your name, you always doing wonderful, thank you.
Well, actually, Kelvin is our fair housing officer.
He is, okay, well, Kelvin, you gonna come over here?
Come
now,
on,
man.
Calvin.
You got on that nice shirt and tie? That's it. You better wear that one soon, okay? All right, congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Before I move on to the next thing, the Fair Housing Month, it is a major deal. It's one of those things that in today's society, a lot of times we don't like to talk about these things, but in my endeavors the last 8 years, I have been not shocked anymore, but very surprised to see some of the things that actually took place here, in South Texas and Orange County. Most recently, not going to say the name of the neighborhood or the company, but a dear friend of mine wanted to build into a neighborhood. And when he looked up the deed restrictions for a very well-known neighborhood in this area, the first paragraph said no spot will be leased, sold, rented, or to any African American, Caucasian race only. And so this was written in the 50s. And so these are people who may still be around today. I don't know. They might be on their last leg, but it just lets you know that a Fair Housing Act that allowed all people of all races to move into neighborhoods and to be a part of different, organizations, it was needed, and it has allowed us to be who we are today. Now, who we are today, we don't even think about something like that. But you have to understand it's because somebody had to step up and say, enough's enough.
Absolutely.
So we thank those people.
Yes.
And thank you, Kelvin, for what you're doing, and thank you, Ms. Rita. Okay. On to item 7, consent agenda, February 22nd, 2022, Orange Economic Development Corporation meeting minutes, and March 8th, 2022, regular city council meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Can I have a motion from Mr. Birch and a second from Mr. Bailey? Mr. Birch?
Aye.
Ms. Hennigan?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
Mr. Childs?
Aye.
And Mr. Bailey? Okay, on to item 8A, consider a resolution approving an EDC infrastructure grant agreement with Orange Stationer / Dickerson PK Properties Incorporated at 701 West Division Avenue, Orange, Texas, 77630 for eligible infrastructure improvements and an amount not to exceed $75,000 for the purpose of economic development. Ms. Dallas.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is our first step in approving the development agreement. If you decide to approve this resolution today, we will have another reading at the meeting in 2 weeks, and that will complete the process of approving the development agreement and move forward with the EDC reimbursable grant.
Okay, any questions for Ms. Dallas? Okay.
I'll make a motion.
Motion.
Can we have a motion and a second? Mr. Burge?
Aye.
Ms. Hennigan?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
Mr. Childs?
Aye.
Mr. Bailey? Okay, motion passes. On to item 8B. Consider a resolution of the City Council of the City of Orange, Texas, authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Southeast Texas Lawn and Maintenance for mowing properties that are in violation of the Code of Ordinances and establishing an effective date. Mr. Knopf.
The city opened bids on March 10th for the mowing contract. This is a 1 year with a 1 year option at the city's option to renew. 6 bid packets were sent out and 3 bids were actually submitted. The bid from Southeast Lawn and Maintenance was the lowest bid that was submitted.
Awesome. Okay, any questions or comments? I know you got a
10,000.
comment.
10,000 motions.
10,000 motions, all
Glad to
right.
see it.
Yes.
And I'll make a
Yes.
motion. I'll second Paul's 10,000 motions.
Okay, so we have 10,001. Mr. Burge?
Aye.
Ms. Hennigan?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
Mr. Childs?
Aye.
Mr. Bailey? Okay, motion passes, and thank you, Mr. Knopf. We really appreciate
you.
it. Item 8C, consider a resolution awarding a contract to Sage Industrial Services LLC in the amount of $57,370 for the purchase of a JLG SkyTrack 1054 telehandler. Mr. Wolf. Oh, Mr. Ingram, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I was rubbing my eye.
This is a four-wheel drive telescoping forklift that'll actually limit our need to rent other pieces of equipment to do this job. Very low hours for what it is and a very well-priced unit.
Awesome. Okay. Do we have a motion?
Make a
Motion.
motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Burge?
Aye.
Ms. Hennigan?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
Mr. Childs?
Aye.
And Mr. Bailey? All right, thank you so much. That passes. On to item 8D. Consider a resolution of the City Council of the City of Orange selecting an engineer in conjunction with the submittal of an application for funding through the Texas Division of Emergency Management Hazard Mitigation Grant Program for DR-4485 COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Ingram.
Yes, sir, there were 2 FRQs that went out. We like both of them. They're well-known and we use them on many projects.
Okay, do we
Make
have
a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Burge?
Aye.
Ms. Hennigan?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
Mr. Childs?
Aye.
And Mr. Bailey? Okay, motion passes. On to item 8E. Consider a resolution of the City Council of the City of Orange selecting a grant writer administrator to assist the city in its application and administration of a contract, if awarded, from the Texas Division of Emergency Management Hazard Mitigation Grant Program for DR-4485 COVID-19 pandemic. Ms. Zito.
Yes, Mayor, this is new funding available through TDM, the Hazard Mitigation Program. We did a RFP to find a grant administrator to help us with the application because we don't know all the requirements yet and how much money there's gonna be, and to administer the grant. We got 3 proposals. After reviewing them, we recommend that we go with Traylor and Associates.
Gotcha. Okay. Any questions or comments?
Nope.
Okay. Got a motion?
Motion.
from Mr. Childs, a second from Mrs. Salter. Mr. Birch?
Aye.
Ms. Hennigan?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
Mr. Childs?
Aye.
Mr. Bailey?
Hello.
All right, all right, thank you, Ms. Zito. On item 9A, consider a motion acknowledging the annual review of the financial policy for the city of Orange. Ms. Zito.
Yes, this is just our annual review of the financial policy, and there's been no changes.
Oh,
We
Make a
didn't get-
motion.
So Mike didn't get his Jeep?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay, cool. All right, do we have a motion?
Motion.
Okay, and a second from Mr. Birch. Mr. Birch?
Aye.
Ms. Hennigan?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
Mr. Childs?
Aye.
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Zito. Item 9B, consider a motion approving a First Amendment to license agreement, indemnity, and release concerning the use of Stark Park for Art in the Park scheduled for Saturday, April 2nd, which this Orange CVB will pay $500 to the Nelda C. and H.J. Letcher Stark Foundation. Mr. Trahan.
Yes, sir. So thank you, Mayor and Council. And first of all, I want to publicly acknowledge and thank Mr. Tad McKee and the Stark Foundation for their support. One of the most successful events that we do year in and year out with a qualifier, providing that we have really nice weather, which we're going to hope for. But basically, we process a certificate of insurance indemnifying the Stark Foundation for the use of Stark Park. And basically, this $500 is a processing a purchase order in terms of solidifying the lease agreement for that specific day. So I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, any questions or comments? If not, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
second?
Can we have a motion and a second? Mr. Birch?
Aye.
Ms. Hennigan?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
Mr. Childs?
Aye.
Mr. Bailey? Okay, motion passes. On to item 9C. Consider a motion approving action taken by the Orange EDC in the form of a motion of intent approving an EDC incentive with a reserve at Mallard Lakes, J. Bro Enterprises, West Alley Payne Road, Orange, Texas 77632, for eligible infrastructure in an amount not to exceed $100,000 for the purpose of economic development. Mr. Trahan.
Yes, sir. So as a follow-up to the EDC meeting, a preliminary plat is under review at this point in time with up to 120 homes in a Phase 1 type of development with a market value of estimated $200,000 per home, which will potentially add $24 million to the property tax base upon build-out. And as a result of that, there's a capital investment estimate in terms of the project at $3 million that the developer is looking at. And so basically, we would like to move forward with a $100,000 EDC incentive in the form of a reimbursement grant upon completion of the project. So I'll turn it back over to you, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, do we have any questions or comments from Mr. Trahan?
Nope.
Okay, if not, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Burge?
Aye.
Ms. Hennigan?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
Mr. Childs?
Aye.
And Mr. Bailey? Okay, motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Trahan. On to item 9D. Consider a motion approving action taken by the Orange EDC regarding a project completion timeline extension for Treg Enterprises by U Metals, 1813 DuPont Drive, Orange, Texas 77630, from March 25th, 2022 to September 25th, 2022. Mr. Trahan.
Yes, sir. So basically, with the challenges of material supplies and orders that business owners are facing today, this project is doing very well in terms of moving along with substantial completion, but there are some outstanding items, and the development agreement that was signed off on had a date of March 25th as a targeted completion date. But because of the delays, the project owner has requested that we actually extend it for a period of 6 months. Just to remind you, it's a $500,000 capital investment at the project site, of which the EDC has committed a not to exceed $150,000 in terms of a EDC reimbursement grant upon completion of the project. So subject to your approval, we'll just add this to the existing agreement and extend that time out.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a
Motion.
motion.
Can we have a motion and a second? Mr. Burge?
Aye.
Ms. Hennigan?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
Mr. Childs?
Aye.
And Mr. Bailey? Okay, motion passes. On to item 9E. Consider a motion acknowledging changes made to the notice of election for the City of Orange, May 7th, 2022 general election. These changes include change of location of one of the early voting locations and adding a voting location on Election Day. Mr. Coombs.
Mayor, Council, the two revisions that need to be made, as you mentioned, there will be a change in the early voting location, and anybody in Orange County can vote early at any location. So they're switching that from the Orange County Airport to the Bridge City ISD Admin Building, which is at 1031 West Round Bunch Road in Bridge City, and then also adding a voting location on Election Day. So that'll be the County Precinct Voting Block 12, which will be at the West Orange Stark High School.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Coombs. On to item,
Oh,
no, I have
need
acknowledged him.
an
You're right,
action.
sorry. I'm thinking it was just an update. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Can we have a motion and a second? Mr. Burge?
Aye.
Ms. Hennigan?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
Mr. Childs?
Aye.
And Mr. Bailey? Okay, motion passes. On to item 9F. Consider a motion acknowledging receipt of a Humanities Texas grant in the amount of $7,200 for a temporary part-time library position to assist with Orange Public Library programming. Ms. Manasco.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is just acknowledging receipt of this grant. This grant will allow us to have a part-time person for approximately 29 weeks.
Awesome. Okay.
Make a motion.
Make a motion?
Can we have a motion and a second? Mr. Burge?
Aye.
Ms. Hennigan?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
Mr. Childs?
Aye.
And Mr. Bailey? All right, motion passes. Thank you. Congratulations. Looking forward to the summer reading program. Okay, item 9G, consider a motion declaring equipment 2012 F-650, 2013 T-Rex, 2013 Dixie Chopper, 2011 Kubota track hoe, and a 2018 Harbin Jet Rodder as surplus and authorizing disposal by auction through Renee Bates Auctioneer. Mr. Ingram.
These pieces of equipment are either surplus or need to be retired. Quick side note, by this auction, funds are paying for things like the forklift that y'all just approved. So it was 100% funded by these auctions.
Awesome. That's wonderful. Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Burge?
Aye.
Ms. Hennigan?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
Mr. Childs?
Aye.
And Mr. Bailey? Okay, motion passes, and thank you for that information. Okay, on to city manager report. Mr. Coombs?
Mayor and Council, there will be a joint City Council Planning and Zoning Commission public hearing, regular P&Z meeting, and a special council meeting on Tuesday, April the 5th at 5:30 here in the council chambers to consider a preliminary plat for the Reserve at Mallard Lake Single Family Subdivision. Also, tomorrow, we will be posting the fire chief position notice. And unrelated, I will also be out of the office Wednesday through Friday for TCMA training.
Okay, all right.
But if you need me, give me a call.
Or call
Or
Jay.
call Jay.
Call Jay, okay. All right, city council report, starting with Mr. Bailey.
I just want to thank the city manager and Mr. Wolf. We had a line bust in Roselawn, and I called Mike, and I'm sure he got several calls, but it has turned out to be a terrible thing. It'll cost us a lot of money, but they jumped on it and they're taking care of it, so I'd like to thank them.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bailey. Mr. Childs?
I'm gonna do it under two hats. One under my council hat. I received an email today from Brenda Kelly at 1439 Beagle Road. I'll forward that information to Mr. Wolf and Mike. Our yard was flooding terribly in the Hi-Ho subdivision, and she'd like somebody to walk out there. And actually, Mr. Ingram has addressed some of the problems out there. I think he's working with the county and trying to figure out where the drainage is supposed to go. And as far as my business person hat, my hat's off to the city of Orange. I sent them a text that TxDOT was shutting down my business and my driveways. Within 5 hours, Mr. Wolf was out there and had them back open again. Thank you, Mr. Wolf. That's it.
Awesome. Okay, Ms. Salter?
I just want to thank everybody for being here. I do want to say that, of course, there's a lot going on in the city, but we are, I tell you, it's a lot.
been having several posts with people complaining about the things like the, like the post office boxes and things. And I think that sometimes our constituents, they don't really understand what is for the city, what's for the county, and what's, you know, what's not for us. And so just bear with us. We're doing our best. So thank you so much. Gate City Guild is an organization number 42, and the Stars of Gate City 57 are now going to be collecting back to school supplies. So there are a variety of locations like Walmart, AT&T, a variety of places. I think Salvation Army as well, you know, aren't they? We'll be participating. So if you see these boxes and you can, please donate. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Ms. Hennigan?
I have no report, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Burge?
No report, thank you.
Okay. I just want to thank everyone for coming. We do have a closed executive session. But like Ms. Salter said and everyone else, there is a lot going on. I think we have a lot to get through. Most importantly, I do want to thank God once again for sparing our community. When I woke up this morning and I saw the devastation, you know, I know it was way north of us, but it doesn't take much for it to change and be here. So thank God for that. And I also want to recognize a brother, a friend, and a fellow city councilman. So yesterday, I somehow broke the drain on my sink trying to fix it. And water was everywhere. And so in the meantime of me trying to figure out how to be a plumber, I went to my local Ace Hardware to buy some stuff. And my brother Brad Childs took care of me. And so I posted it on my social media right before you pulled up in your truck earlier, saying thank you to Ace for always being there. And a lot of times, you know, people go to run to Home Depot, but let's make sure we shop local with some of our home-owned businesses as well, okay?
She can come fix it for you.
I'll call you because I'm not done yet, so I'll give you a holler. All right, with that being said, we will now adjourn to close executive session. Deliberation with city attorney pursuant to Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. Deliberation with legal counsel pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.071. Consultation with attorney regarding pending or contemplated litigation with the Ebede Family Limited Partnership, Owl versus the City of Orange. So at this time, you can hang out and enjoy some of the beautiful weather. I believe the library may be open, and we will reconvene as soon as possible. We can now reconvene in open session. Take action as necessary regarding item 11A above. There is no action to be taken. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion. Second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.